Hello and welcome back. Since we had our last chat with Paul about the events industry in December 2020, just before Christmas, things have obviously changed quite considerably. We're now in January 2021 in the third lockdown. So here to run us through the changes that have taken place is Paul, the director from Purple Patch Group. Welcome back, Paul.
Hi, John. Good morning. Good to see you again.
You too as well. So where is the world of events right now, considering the circumstances that we find ourselves in January 2021?
So good question. I think when we last spoke back in December, we had a sort of certain direction of travel. Oliver Dowden had announced that he expected the events industry to be back to relatively normal by Easter 2021. And I think clearly now with lockdown 3, that's not the case. I think our world changes sometimes, certainly on a weekly basis, and sometimes actually on a daily basis. When we spoke in December, we were planning really to move back towards hybrid events and moving away from 100% virtual, and clearly now that direction is very different. I mean, for example, we have 2 events. This week we have one that's 100% virtual, which is an award ceremony, which we managed yesterday. It's an audience of about 2,500 people and 16 presenters, and that was 100% virtual and very successful. As we're talking today, we actually have another event that's live as we speak, and that's a hybrid. And that's 2 presenters coming from the office in the city, and then 7 other presenters coming from their homes or their regional offices. So we're in a very fluid, sort of changing world. I guess the key question for me is, what does 2021 look like? And nobody knows, John. I mean, that's the bottom line. But my guess is that we won't see any physical events in 2021, and that's a change of my mind since December when we last speak. And why is that? Well, I think you and I are in Group 9 for the vaccination, as we both know, and that's going to be in the autumn or early into winter 2021. And I also question whether or not, even once we're all vaccinated, whether we'll have the appetite to get together in very large groups again during 2021.
So if we're not going to get together in large groups again then this year, is that good news or bad news then for clients?
Well, I think it's. I don't think it's really sort of either. I think the one certainty is that our clients still need to communicate with their audiences, and that requirement hasn't changed because of COVID and because of tiers and because of lockdown. So I think there is some good news, and some of the good news is that we as an industry, along with our clients, have learned a lot of things since March 2020 when we entered this sort of virtual world. But I also think that audiences are better at receiving and digesting virtual content than they were necessarily back in March. We're all working in different ways. We're both sitting at home today. I'll go for a walk later on. You'll go and get some fresh air. Back in March, we didn't know how to exist in this world. So I think our audiences are changing in the way that they're working as well. I think also we understand, the good news really is that we understand our audience metrics much better than we did back in March. And our drop-off rate, so the amount of people leaving an event towards the end of that broadcast, is actually now surprisingly low versus where it was last year. I think the brutal fact, John, is that if you look at the metric being return on investment for our clients, then the return on investment of virtual events is spectacularly high.
Now, you evolved your business in 2020. So what are the plans now for 2021?
So our business did evolve in 2020, and certainly not by design, but out of necessity, to sort of service our clients sort of better during those lockdowns. I think 2021, we already have a much bigger team of people working with us and for us. We have now some dedicated virtual event directors, all of whom have got experience of running hundreds of virtual events over the last 10 months. Excuse me. We've got a new partner studio down in Brighton where we can now take in broadcast quality interviews from our clients, and that fills a sort of gap at the moment where we're able to film at the moment, but we're not filming at the moment in January, and I think we won't be filming again until about March. I think for the rest of 2021, we'll just continue to sort of refine our virtual offering based on what we've learned from delivering what is now, I think, 60 or 61 virtual events. At its core, I think we will just remain ready to flex at whatever 2021 brings, the unknown, shall we say.
And of course, then, I mean, does that make you more optimistic about 2021?
I think it's difficult to use the word sort of optimism. Where we are at the moment, we're on a sort of rainy January morning in lockdown 3.
You've not had the snow yet, then?
No, we haven't. We've had constant rain. But I think the reasons for optimism are versus last March, of course, we now have the vaccine. We have the vaccine, we have the treatments for COVID, and there is a sort of light at the end of the tunnel towards the end of this year. So I think I'm optimistic about 2021. I think we've learned a lot, as I said, in the last sort of 8 months about how to deliver virtual events. And I think that puts us and our clients in a great position to continue to deliver live events virtually or in a hybrid format, whatever 2021 throws at us.